Welcome back, everybody, here. Another holiday bonus edition of Whatever Wednesday. Today, we're not even going to be talking about specific offenses or specific defenses. We're going to be talking about some of the hidden gem teams into the road to the CFP mode that a lot of people might not know are as good as they actually are. So we're specifically just talking about Tier 4 and Tier 5 teams. Now, I know Tier 3 has some of the best teams in the game. I actually have a list pulled up over here of some of my favorites. Tier 3 is by far the deepest tier, in my opinion, in this game. Arkansas, Boise State's really good. Florida, Kansas, Kansas State, Kentucky, Memphis, Missouri, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, SMU, South Carolina, Syracuse, UCF, Virginia Tech, USC, UCLA, Wisconsin. There are a ton of really good Tier 3 teams. That'd be its whole other video, but we see a lot of different Tier 3 teams. We don't see a lot of Tier 4 or Tier 5 online teams, and I think that's a mistake. I think these are really fun teams to play with. But now, of course, the biggest question would be, well, why would I play with a Tier 4 or Tier 5 team? Number one, it's super satisfying when you can pull off a win against like a Tier 1 or Tier 2 team with a Tier 4 or 5 team. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Texas State as one of the teams, which we've covered a few times recently. I think they're very good. But the second reason you could use a Tier 4 or 5 team actually has to do with the road to the CFP mode. So we're going to get in here really quick, see if I can show you an example. So just using this season I'm in right now as an example, we're in the All-American Division. We're currently 5-1. If we go into our next play game, what tier we are determines our ranking as the season goes along. So we can see here, if we use Tier 4 Texas State and we beat a Tier 1 team, we move up to number 40. If we beat a same level as us, Tier 4 or Tier 5 team, we only move up to level 50. So later on in the season, if you're finding yourself kind of losing ranking points, you're trying to make a push for the playoffs, you're going to find yourself, sometimes you have to use a Tier 4 or Tier 5 team, try to beat one of those Tier 1 or Tier 2 teams to really jump yourself up into the rankings. And also, I just wanted to show, because I've shown this in videos before and people have said they didn't know this was a thing. When you go to look for a game, your search settings here, this is going to try to determine what tier you're going against. It doesn't work all the time, and especially as you get higher up in ranking, it works less and less. But if you're just getting started, if you're in a lower division with a low ranking, everything like that, if you search by tier, it's going to kind of limit your search to that tier for the most part. Again, not every time. It's not a guarantee. What I always did during campus tour was search for the same tier I was in. You could search for tiers up if you really needed ranking points. You wanted to search for a Tier 1 team. If you just wanted, you could search Tier 5 with a Tier 4 team if you really wanted to. As we can tell, the only difference is it's more of a penalty if you lose, but it's the same bonus if you win. So that's just something a lot of people don't know about. I just want to get it out there. And then, of course, you cannot change like your playbooks or your jerseys or anything like that. You're just kind of stuck with whatever you got. But yeah, that's a reason some people, you could find yourself wanting to use Tier 4 or Tier 5. So Tier 4, well, again, we'll just show another here. So Tier 4 against Tier 1, we would move up to number 40. Tier 5, we would move up to number 36. Versus a Tier 2, we'd move up to 40. Another Tier 5, we'd move up to 50. Tier 4, 46. You guys can see. I don't need to read over every little thing in here. But if you're at the end of the season, desperate for ranking points, Tier 4 or Tier 5 teams against those higher up teams, if you're confident in your abilities, and these teams that we're going to go over will give you a good chance to beat a lot of those Tier 1, Tier 2 teams. That's a good way to do it. All in all, we are going to have 10 teams we're looking at. 6 Tier 4, 4 Tier 5s. I don't think we're going to have any gameplay or anything like that. When I'm talking about each team, though, I will put a link somewhere on the screen here to our campus tour featuring that team. First off, let's just look at Texas State here again. Last couple episodes, I have gone over them fairly recently, but their depth chart is insane. They're insane. Remember, Tier 4 team, 87 overall, 87 speed quarterback with extender, pull down, and mobile deadeye. At halfback, 87 overall, 94 speed with gold takeoff and silver sidestep. Unbelievable. And you have this power back here. So really what you could do if you really wanted to, move this halfback out to wide receiver with his gold takeoff. Then you have a power back in here with platinum workhorse, silver head first, balanced sidekick, and downhill, which is insane. But even at wide receiver, they've already got really good wide receivers. We got 95 speed, 82 overall, Bo Sparks. 89 overall, 91 speed, great slot receiver, Joey Hobart. Got Jaden Williams, 85 overall, 92 speed. We have another 95 speed wide receiver down here with bronze takeoff and bronze shifty. We have another 93 speed wide receiver. This is going to be a common theme we're going to see kind of across the board. Speed is king. You want speed all over your field. That's going to give you the best chance, especially playing against those higher tier teams where they're going to be running more man coverage and things like that. Speed is going to help you so much. So we're going to see that in a lot of these teams. And Texas State is one of the best examples. Not the best. They're close, though. I was just looking at my list again, but there's a couple teams we're going to talk about here that I think are a little bit faster. But Texas State's really good. You just have to remember they do have the veer and shoot offense. So if that's not something you're comfortable with, Texas State might not be for you. One of the next teams we talk about might work a little bit better. They don't have a great tight end. The only other thing we really want to look at on defense, at least that I look at, is if we have any quick jumps or any abilities on our defensive line. So we do have one bronze quick jump, which is great. I think that's it. Yes. So even just having one quick jump is going to help you a ton. And then we also have a pocket disruptor and duress on our other defensive lineman. Pocket disruptor is going to help with a pass rush too. And then corners, we have a 91 speed, we have a 95 speed, we have a 90 speed. You can put your wide receivers at corners if you want. That you could fill your secondary with speed still if you really wanted to. So Texas State, super good team. Like I said though, with the veer and shoot, if you're comfortable with it, absolutely 100% recommend Texas State. If not, it can be a little dicey. So we're going to stick in tier 4. Take a look at our next team. Staying in tier 4, the BYU Cougars. Kind of insane that they're tier 4. I think they're an 85 overall, something like that. But hey, they count as tier 4 and they are insane. They are really, really good. They have much more of a standard playbook, which this is also something I'm going to show you guys in case you are not familiar. There is a website you can go to check every playbook in the game. CFB.fan. Let me pull this down a little bit so you guys can see it. It's right there. CFB.fan has every offensive playbook in the game and defensive, but BYU. So you can just go click on BYU. It's going to show you every formation that they have. You can go, okay, they got trips tight end. What do they have in trips tight end? Click in there. Shows you every play of the BYU playbook. Trips tight end, actually a very, very good formation. Great to have in there. But they have trips tight end. I personally like the spread formation. So spread flex, spread halfback weak. But even some of the normal Y off stuff, they have an empty set. Very good, pretty standard playbook. A lot easier to just pick up and run than something like the veer and shoot. What BYU also has is an insane roster. We thought Texas State had speed. This is kind of who I was thinking of when there's actually a couple, but this was one of the ones I was thinking of when I was saying how fast Texas State is. BYU, my goodness. So at quarterback, you could keep Jake Retzlaff. You could put Jerry Bohannon in there just to get a little more speed. Depends what abilities you like better. I pretty much am always going to go with a quarterback that has dot over one that doesn't. I think that helps a ton. And really this Bohannon, sleight of hand, pull down, step up, not the best ability stack. So I would keep Retzlaff in here at quarterback 1. Halfback, 97 speed, 71 overall. Or, again, much like Texas State, though, you could keep a power back in there, 6'2", 225, with workhorse, armbar, and head first. Put your 97 speed at wide receiver. But the crazy thing about BYU, you don't even really have to do that if you don't want to, because at wide receiver 1 has 94 speed. Wide receiver 5 has 96 speed. You could put this guy in here, too, with 97 speed. But even if not, your top 2 having 96 and 94, you could just put those guys out wide, and they're still going to kill man coverage. You also have a 92 speed Epps and 90 speed Marion. I would probably put this Davis out wide, so I'd set it up kind of like this. So I'd have 97, 96, then this would be Roberts, then this would be Epps. So that if you run 4 sets, your 2 outside wide receivers, Miles Davis, Parker Kingston, in your slot receivers, Roberts and Epps. That's just a crazy wide receiver. I was going to double check, make sure there wasn't anybody else I was even missing on here. But yeah, I think that's a good setup for it. 97, 96, 94, and 92 speed on your top 4 receivers. Insane. And their tight end is fast too. 86 speed on tight end is really, really good. If you match up against other tier 4 teams, there's just none that are going to be able to keep up with BYU. There just isn't. There just isn't. And then now their defensive line doesn't really have anything worth talking about. No real abilities across the defensive line. There's a pocket disruptor and a takedown, but that's really it. What makes their defense pretty dang good, though, their speed at cornerback. Cornerback number 1, 87 overall, 91 speed. We have 96 speed here. We have a 95 speed here. Hiding down here, another 96 speed. So if you run nickel, your 3 corners could all be 96, 96, and 95. what I would do is I would keep this Robinson as your slot corner, especially with the abilities he has. Ball hawk, fantastic ability. House call, good ability. Knockout, great ability. So my two outside receivers would be, or outside corners, I mean, would be our 296 speed boys, and then our slot corner would be Robinson. Then I'd keep this 95 speed in case we go to a dime or something like that to make sure he comes in here. But so at wide receiver, our top 4 are 92 speed or above. At cornerbacks, our top 4 are 91 speed or above. And you take out that 91 speed, we have 95, 96, 96. So even if you use somebody like BYU, and we actually did do this in a video a while ago. I might link. There's going to be a lot of links to videos in here. Where I was trying out their 6-1 defense. We matched up against Alabama. We were still able to move the ball and play good defense because of how fast this secondary is. Then at free safety, what you have to do, and this is another, you have to come through and check your depth charts before you go into these games, because you would never know this Harper is down here with 91 speed. He's your starting free safety. Strong safety, I actually don't think they have a great option here, but even honestly, 88 speed's not bad at all for a strong safety. So yeah, BYU, super fast at the skill positions. At wide receiver, I mean, it depends what you want to do at halfback. Like, I think that 97 speed halfback's going to work better as a wide receiver, especially since he has takeoff, which is going to help him get past like man press streaks and things like that. But the speed in the secondary, the speed at wide receiver makes BYU a super good tier 4 team. Speaking of speed, let's talk about our next team. And I say speaking of speed, like I'm not going to talk about it with pretty much every team we're going to go over here today, but the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Now, if I remember correctly, their whole backfield, including their quarterback, the slowest person you're going to have is 90 speed. And that might just be their entire offense, except for their offensive line. Even their tight end, I think, has 90 speed. All the receivers, the speed on this team. This is the team I struggled with probably the most out of everyone throughout campus tour. Just because if you match up with them while you're using a tier 4 team, unless it's someone like BYU, it is going to be so hard to keep up with a team like Georgia Tech and their rambling wreck. So let's just head over to their depth chart and take a look here. What's the backfield? Jamal Haynes, Haynes King. Jamal Haynes King. That's it. That's a running back and quarterback combo. Yep, Haynes King, 85 overall, 90 speed. Option King, off-platform, extender, magician. Unbelievable. This guy is so good. To have 90 speed on your quarterback is just such an added threat that the defense has to worry about. You need contains, you need spies, you need something to try to keep this Haynes King from killing you. Then you focus on him too much. Now it's going to our halfback, Jamal Haynes, 92 speed, takeoff, 360, sidestep, shifty. Just that 1-2 punch combo alone is unbelievable. What you could do, you could put Haynes out at wide receiver because you still have a 92 speed down here too. And you know, he's got bronze takeoff, so you could put him at wide receiver if you really wanted to. But he's got gold takeoff, gold shifty. I mean, the backfield at Georgia Tech is just absurd, but so are their wide receivers. 92, 91, 93 speed. Top 3 being 91 plus speed is unbelievable for a tier 4. We have another 90 speed. There's that tight end we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, you can move this Haynes to have another 92 speed. You can move that Cooley to have another 92 speed. You have another 91 here with BP Donald. You've got so much speed on this team. They don't have the top end speed that like the BYU had, for example. But their speed is spread out enough that you could run any style of offense you really wanted to. You could run some like read options. You could do a whole QB run scheme with that Haynes King and Jamal Haynes in the backfield. You could do more of a spread with all the speed they have at wide receiver. That's why I love Georgia Tech. They just give you so many options. And then when you throw in, oh, they have a 91 speed tight end too. My goodness, you could call whatever you wanted. And then even more so, we take out this Jackson whatever, put in this 83 speed tight end. Now we could run some 2 tight end sets even. I don't know if Georgia Tech actually has any off the top of my head. It's been a while since I used Georgia Tech. Let me just go check that CFP.fan quick. Do they have, I mean, they have some pistol deuce. They have, okay, they do have a little bit. They have trips tight end offset, which this formation would be impossible to defend. Be impossible. Trips tight end offset with your tight end on the right, have him on like drags or something coming the other way, have the speed going to the right, you have a read option, you have RPOs, you have speed options, verticals, tight end in. Georgia Tech with his trips tight end offset crazy combination. Just the overall speed on offense. Like I said, your slowest guy on offense, including your quarterback, is going to be 90 speed, except for your offensive line, of course. But other than that, the slowest guy you're going to have is 90 as on your quarterback. Defensively, okay, we do have one bronze quick jump and a silver quick jump. So we have 2 quick jumps on defense here too. Some grip breakers. Okay, so this defensive line is actually really good here too. So how would we, so our right end is going to be height, so then our silver quick jump would be our left end, and we want to set it here and go down to your rush left end, rush right end. Make sure they're starting here too, so then when you get into the game, it'll actually be those guys you want rushing after the passer. So you got both those quick jumps. Same thing with D tackles, you're going to want to do it in both. We'd want to put in our grip breakers. We have a silver grip breaker right there. Let's put in our bronze grip breaker and bronze takedown. So now everyone on our starting defensive line has an ability, which is crazy. Again, for a tier 4 team, it is so good. Outside linebackers, I don't think they have much in terms of linebackers. I mean, an 83 speed with knockout isn't the worst. It's not great. Corners, 91, 92, 90, 90 speed. 96 speed down here too. 5'11", so he's a little short, but 96 speed, that would 100% go on your outside, so that'd be one of your outside guys. Other outside guys, going to kind of depend how tall everybody is. 6 foot, he's got quick jump. But I personally never blitz my corner. But if you do, hey, they have a quick jump at corner too. So those would be your 2 outside guys, and then our slot guy would be Harvey. Because again, I run nickels, so this is how I would look at it, how I would set it up. Outside, we'd have Shelley and Burl, then we have Harvey. Actually, Harvey would be our other outside. Faster, taller, works better as an outside corner. That's how we would set up our cornerbacks. Free safety, we have a 90 or a 94 speed. You could user one of them will become your user sub linebacker. One of them is going to play up top. You can take your pick. Do either one. I think what would probably work best is I would switch these, and I'd have Brooks down as a linebacker just because he's 6'2", 200. That'll help a little more against the run and be a little bit better of a user, I think, and keep the 94 speed up top. Then you have an 88 speed with Robber as your strong safety. He said not the top end speed that we saw with BYU, but speed everywhere. And the abilities on the defensive line. Georgia Tech, fantastic tier 4 team. Another one that this one really, I've never seen anyone use online. I'd be shocked to ever see anyone use it, but they're pretty good. Let's take a look at them. The Northwestern Wildcats. One of my personal biggest surprises throughout doing campus tour was how good Northwestern is in this game. One thing I don't think they have, but I sure wish they did, is if you played the home games, you were in their actual like temporary stadium they've been playing at this past year, was like right on Lake Michigan. I think it's like their soccer stadium or their soccer practice field or something like that. Looks incredible. Or let's play at Wrigley Field even. That would even boost Northwestern higher, in my opinion. But this roster Northwestern has is on, it's very good. So they are also going to be a tier 4 if I remember right. I'm actually gonna double check that really quick. I'm pretty sure they're tier 4. Let's just make sure before I talk about them too much, but I'm fairly confident. Yes, tier 4, 82 overall. So you can see there too that it says their offense is 76 overall. Their offense is insane. It's great. It's really good. Let's go look at the roster for the Northwestern Wildcats. At quarterback, I would be putting in this Mike Wright, 91 speed. He's only 74 overall, but 91 speed on your quarterback. So just what we talked about with Georgia Tech, having that extra speed with extender and magician, give an extra wrinkle that the defense has to guard. 91 speed on your quarterback. Now at halfback, I would keep this Cam Porter in as your power back with his workhorse armbar and head first. And yes, we have a 92 and a 93 speed. I mean, you could put the 93 speed guy in there too, I guess, but 65 overall, he's not great. In this Hyman, this Hyman, H-I-M-O, I'm going to guess that's Hyman, with gold takeoff. Outside wide receiver with gold takeoff is great. So yeah, he's little, but him having that takeoff is going to help him beat like a man press or anything like that. So we'd be moving him to an outside wide receiver. Elsewhere in the wide receiver room, 94 speed, 84 overall. 84 overall, 92 speed. Then behind that, you know, we do have another 90 speed. Nothing else too fantastic, but we put this guy here. Then we have our 94 speed be our other outside receiver. We have Henning be our slot receiver. Then we have 4 90-plus speed wide receivers, 1 with a gold takeoff, double dip, and shifty. That's a really good wide receiver room all of a sudden we got here at Northwestern with a 91 speed halfback and a big power back. So we come out and spread the offense out. We do have some just regular trips halfback weak, some spread flex, spread double flex. So I always just kind of gravitate to the spread stuff, especially with a team set up like this with a good power back coming out in a spread to spread their defense out. Then you can just power run it right at them if they commit too much to the pass. They don't commit enough to the pass. We got 4 90-plus speed wide receivers to attack you with, or 91 speed halfback. I did check, or not halfback, quarterback. We have no abilities on the defensive line, so that's kind of a bummer. But our secondary is very, very good. All 90-plus speed everywhere, which really was kind of my benchmark going through campus tour. I was happy with the secondary as long as we had 3 90-plus speed. We have 5 90-plus speed here with Northwestern, and I honestly don't even think I would change anything about how this is set up. Keep your 90 speed with abilities on the outside, 91 speed on the outside, and one of these guys is a slot. It doesn't really make a big difference. But at free safety, we have 91 speed with Silver Robber. At strong safety, we have 87 speed or 90 speed, who I would probably switch these two. Now Turner can come down and be one of your user linebackers as well with 87 speed, 6'1", 212. What they also have, this middle linebacker, he's not a good overall, but it is good if you can to keep a middle linebacker as one of your a linebacker as one of your sub linebackers. That's just going to help a lot against the run. So having an 88 speed middle linebacker, that whatever speed strong safety, who is also almost the same size as this middle linebacker, is going to help against the run a lot. You got enough speed in your secondary to cover everything else. Ton of speed on offense. Love the Northwestern Wildcats. Super underrated team in my opinion. Like I said, I've just never seen anybody use, but they are actually very good. But we haven't had a single player quite stand out as much as one we are going to have on our next team. The Sam Houston Bearcats, I believe, made their first ever bowl game this year. They've only been in FBS for a couple years at this point. I think they were like 1-11 last year, and then we're 7-5 or 8-4 this year. Huge improvement. Always love to see that kind of stuff. I'm hoping Kennesaw can find something similar. I doubt it, but you never know. Now, Sam Houston, what do they have that makes them so dang special? Well, one, their playbook. I actually am going to show a specific play here that Sam Houston has that I used a ton when I used them, and is an unbelievable play, especially with the squad we got here. So we're going to go back to our CFB.fan here. We're already in the Sam Houston state. We can see right up here, we're in their playbook. This is out of gun doubles. Yes, PA zone read. This play is so good, especially if you've got good speed. So we got 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. You can make a couple hot routes to make this play even a little bit better depending on what defense they're in. But this route over here is going to kill cover 3, cover 4, especially if you put like a comeback over here on the left. You have kind of a mesh underneath. This is a play we ran a lot and worked very, very well, especially considering the talent we have here on Sam Houston. So let's get into their roster. Like I said, I think this is the best individual player I believe we're going to see yet. It's not at quarterback. But even at quarterback, I mean, solid. Nothing spectacular. Bauer might be the better option just because he has extender and magician versus pull down. Abilities are always going to be really important, unfortunately, but that's just kind of the way it is. And I prefer extender and magician, so I think Bauer would be my quarterback here. Halfback, we have 91 speed and a 90 speed between these top two, Ducker and McKinney, 91 and 90 speed. Or we have this Gentry, 92 speed, 80 overall. No abilities on any of them, which is rough. But what we also have, the star of the show, wide receiver, Adaye. Like I said, I never listen to like games when I'm watching them, so I never know how to pronounce these guys' names. It's a problem sometimes. 97 speed with gold takeoff. So we move him. He's gonna be wide receiver 1. So on that play we were showing, he is on the far right of that formation. So they come out and press, streak, touchdown. They come out and don't press, that deep crosser still gets open a ton. He kills defenses on that play. Outside of him though, honestly, the receiver room is a little bit weak. We do have a 90 speed here with Phillips. We have a double dip there. We could move some of those halfbacks that we saw just to get a little more speed on the field. That's probably what I would do here with Sam Houston. We do have a 92 speed down here, but he's a 60 overall, 5'10", 165. We don't love that. So we would just get some more speed out in some of these spots. So we'd probably keep our double dip in there. Move him down there. Get a 90, maybe a 91 in there. So then at least our top 3 are still 91 plus speed, but really it's this guy that makes this team work. Like, he is the main guy here for Sam Houston State. As long as you can get him open, you're going to be doing just fine. And then you have decent speed elsewhere, but nothing fantastic. That's kind of why they're not as good as some of these other teams we've been looking at, but they do have the best player of any team we've looked at so far. So, you know, you take the good with the bad. Tight end, we definitely swap that out. 69 speed is atrocious. And they have a sure hands tight end, which is always nice. Let's see, defensively, I don't remember them having a whole heck of a lot. We do have a pocket disruptor and duress, which is nice. If anybody else, no, okay. So that's really going to be our only rush guy there. Linebackers, nothing. 83 speed you could put as a sub linebacker if you really wanted to. Corners, good speed at corners here too. And of course, you could just put him in at cornerback too. I never really personally do that, but I wouldn't begrudge anybody for doing it. This guy, you know, 93 speed is great, but he's only 5'9", so I don't think I'd be super comfortable having him on the outside as much as I would either of these guys. Fisher would probably be my slot. Armstead outside just because he's a little bit taller, 6'1". 5'11", I'm more okay having it on the outside. So you could set your cornerback room up like this. Still have that 93 speed in case you ever want to go to a dime or something. At least you'd still have some speed out there on the field. But our outside corner is 95 speed. 90 speed, but 6'1" with robber. Slot corner, Fisher, 90 speed, 6 foot tall. Love to see that. Free safety, 88 speed. You're doing okay with that. That's not the worst. It's not the best. Strong safety, 87 speed, same kind of thing. So really not as many standout guys on the team, but the biggest standout guy out of all these tier 4 teams I think we're going to talk about, this wide receiver is the best player in tier 4 in my opinion. He is so good and so hard to defend. He is a monster. Love this guy. Now we got one more tier 4 team we're going to talk about here, our 6th tier 4 team, if I remember right. Yes, where we got a couple really good options for speed on offense, and I think a better defense. Let's go check it out. The San Diego State Aztecs, and the best helmets in the game. You can't, you know, if take that for what it's worth. For me, it matters. I take aesthetic into account, but I'll hide my face here. Look at those helmets. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. And what they also have is speed at halfback and wide receiver. Like I've said over and over and over again, and we'll continue to say, speed is incredibly important in this game. So at quarterback, you can start Danny O'Neal with his option king. I'm not even going to try to say that, but I would probably just go with O'Neal just because he's only 2 speeds slower, but so much better overall. I would keep O'Neal in as your quarterback. Now at halfback, we're going to have a change here. Boom, 98 speed, 81 overall. Or honestly, what you could do again is just keep this Cooper in as your halfback 1. Still 90 speed, still 87 overall, still very good, doesn't have any abilities. And you could put this guy out at wide receiver. That might be what we end up doing, because I know they have 1 wide receiver. I don't remember how the rest of the room looks, but 81 overall, 98 speed. Keenan Kristen, wide receiver. 97 speed, so that I would do this. Bang, he's wide receiver 1. We have a 98 speed on one side and 97 speed on the left side, or the other side. The only thing with this poke is he doesn't get takeoff, which is kind of a shame, but he is fast enough. Hopefully you can trust him to get off some presses. And then behind them, we would just throw in some of these 90 speeds. Or even this guy, 6'2" with 89 speed is actually really, really good. And then 90 speed right there. Just put in all of our 90 speed guys to fill out our depth chart. So in terms of top end speed, that's pretty hard to beat. A 98 and a 97 on a tier 4 team. And yeah, he's a halfback, but he has gold takeoff, which is going to help him a ton to be able to beat those press coverages. And then yeah, then you still have a 90 speed halfback. You can throw checkdowns, put him out on routes, he'll still be really good there. But a 98 and 97 speed receiver is unbelievable. And then an 80 speed tight end too. If you have a tight end with at least 80 speed, that can be a huge game changer too. Some abilities on our offensive line. 3 out of your 5 have abilities, which is great. Defensively, we do have a bronze quick jump. Do we have one more? We have a grip breaker. Okay. At least we have 2 abilities on our defensive line. That's going to help a ton too. Right end, yeah, that's going to be our quick jump. D-tackle is going to be our grip breakers. Linebackers, Looks like nobody really to play at linebacker. Corners, we hit our 90 speeds. That's all we're really looking for. We can have 91 speed into 90 speed. We'd have it like this. So these would be our two outside guys. 90 speed, 6'1". 91 speed, 5'11", a little short, but 91 speed, we like that. Our slot, 90 speed, 6 feet tall. And always double check down here. You never know. You might find some people that might be able to, some cornerbacks or something you can still put in. They don't really have any. So we at least hit the 390 speeds. We have another 89 speed in case we do have to go to a dime or something like that. Free safety, looking okay. I mean, 88 speed, 78 overall, 6'2", 190. We love that. Then you have some options to put guys here at sub linebacker too, but I think it's really going to be a lot of strong safety. So we put our 91 speed, will be our starting strong safety. This Staley, 6'1", 192, 88 speed, 100% could come down and be a user linebacker. Then they have some more strong safeties down here. This Josh Hunter, he's a little small, 5'9", 180, but with 90 speed, he could be a good sub linebacker for you as well. Or you could just put in this Williams, 90 speed, 6'1", 185. So secondary sets up really well, but having a 98 and a 97 speed receiver hopefully against tier 4 opponents, huge advantage that San Diego State has. Even if they don't have all that much behind it, just having those two guys can win you a lot of games. So that is it for our tier 4 teams we're going to look at. Now we got 4 tier 5 teams that I also think are very good in this game. The Central Michigan Chippewas, believe it or not, very good in this game. Is a really, I think 77 overall, 71 offense or something like that. But speed. That's what really matters in a lot of these games. You can just kill people with speed, and Central Michigan has got it. So much like what we talked about earlier with your quarterback, 90 speed, Burt Emanuel Jr. with extender and magician. He is going to be your quarterback. When we use Central Michigan in campus tour, this guy was phenomenal. He was so good. I couldn't believe it. I loved this guy. So we got a 90 speed at quarterback. At halfback, we really don't have too many options here at halfback. We would keep this Luke's in 80 overall, 88 speed with bronze sidestep. It's fine. Remember, we're tier 5. We took a step down here in tier. We're not expecting game breakers at every single position. He is more than good enough, though, to still get the job done for you. Now, at wide receivers, we have 92 speed. Bang. Wide receiver 1. 91 speed. Wide receiver 2. 90. We have 4 receivers with 90 plus speed on a tier 5 team. That is not easy to find in this game. So if you're matching up against tier 5 teams, not a lot of them are going to have 90 plus speed at corner. If we can attack with 90, 91, 92 speed across the board with a 90 speed quarterback with a threat of running, you're going to find a lot of open space on offense. 80 speed tight end, also very good. Offensive lines, we have a platinum second level. Sure, why not? A bronze second level at a right tackle. And we're really not going to find too many abilities down here on these tier 5 teams for the most part. Yeah, we just have a bouncer and that's it. Really, it's about getting that speed and abilities if you can find them on your field. We have another middle linebacker with 87 speed. He could easily be a very good sub linebacker for you. At corner, we have a 87 overall, 96 speed Dante Kent. Knockout, ball hawk, blanket coverage. Are you kidding me? It's like they're just so good. Then we have another 90 speed. Then after that, there is a big drop off. Honestly, I think I would keep this 6'2", 89 speed is pretty dang good. So I'd have him be our slot, him be our other outside. Yeah, I think that sets up pretty good because we do have another 90 speed down here who's 6'1". Oh no, that's not the right guy. 5'11", 90 speed. Yeah, I don't think I would put him in. I think I'd rather the 6'2", 89 speed to be an outside corner with your 87 overall, 96 speed being an outside corner, 90 speed being a slot corner. It's crazy. Free safety. Swap these two. 86 speed could be your user if you really wanted to. I think strong safety, they have, they have a silver quick jump at strong safety, which is insane. But 88 overall, 90 speed, you could keep him up top if you wanted to. You probably should. And then this Alston Jackson would be a good user linebacker too. 5'11", 210, so he's got decent enough size. 87 speed, he's going to be fast enough to keep up and do what you need your user to be doing. So yeah, Central Michigan. It's really, this Kent is phenomenal. The quarterback is really, really good, and that depth of speed at wide receiver makes it so you can run a lot of different styles of offense from their playbook. I, of course, run spread because they had spread halfback week, and I think that was it. Yeah, but they also have tight open, which is a fantastic formation too. I'll show you that really quick. So Central Michigan playbook, Central Michigan, gun tight open. Where is it? Slot post is one of the best just stock plays in the game. This one right here. You don't even have to hot route anything. You can just run that as is. This verticals halfback burst kills a lot of zone coverages. Dig Z spot, super good. Bench Z spot, bench return, mesh spot. This is a great formation too. And then pair it with that spread halfback weak, shallow cross, flanker dig, PA read, bubble over, smash corners. So a pretty solid playbook, at least for me. I like that playbook quite a bit, especially if you can pair it with an offense like Central Michigan has. Considering it's tier 5, really, really good. So our next tier 5 team we're going to look at is going to be the James Madison Dukes. Now there's one thing I remember about them that made me really put them on this list, but I do think overall they are a very solid team. They're 80 overall, which for tier 5 is very, very good. 80 overall offense, pretty solid defense. I think like 76, something like that. But like I said, there's one player in particular that really sticks out in my mind when I think of James Madison and why I think they're a very good tier 5 team. Number one is their quarterback is very good. Him having no abilities is insane, but 87 overall, 88 speed gives us that same option we talked about with Central Michigan with a few other teams where you have that running threat with your quarterback. At halfback, we got 92 speed. So again, having that speed all over the field is going to help a ton. Wide receivers, we hit those 90 speeds in a few different spots. You could move one of those halfbacks up where they have 90 and 92 speed, and that would give us 4. But really, as long as we have 3, I personally can run the offenses I like to run with 3 solid wide receivers, and that's what we have here at James Madison. 81 overall, 79 overall, 80 overall, all with 90 plus speed. We like to see that a lot, but what really makes this offense go are these tight ends, and he's actually even hiding down here. Logan Kyle with a 90 speed. Having a fast tight end can be such a game breaker, especially in some of those spread sets, which 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end split out wide, and a halfback. Now, of those 4 that we have out wide with the 3 receivers and 1 tight end, our slowest is 90 speed. We can attack you from everywhere with an offense set up like that. With a 92 speed halfback and 82 speed quarterback, we can go any direction we want to go. Now with James Madden specifically, when I used them in Campus Tour, we went up against a double mug mid blitz. Having a 90 speed tight end against press man coverage like that, he destroyed them. He had to get out of that defense very, very quickly because he had just had no answers for tight end like this, especially when we can match it with decent speed all across the board here down at a tier 5 team. That's really the big difference in a lot of these guys. So if we're matching up against other tier 5 teams, we have huge advantages across the board. We have a quick jump here with Summerall. This guy I feel like should have a quick jump, but he doesn't. 88 overall O'Neal. So even without quick jump, he is going to be a very, very good edge rusher. So we'd have him and then a quick jump on the other side. We'd love to see that. D-tackle, we don't really have a whole heck of a lot. Linebacker, I don't believe... Oh, we have an 85 speed middle linebacker, so he could 100% still be a user linebacker. A touch slow, but not too bad. Corners, 90 speed, 89 speed, and height too. That's a big thing we haven't seen a lot, and it's hard to find down some of these tier 5 teams. We have a 92 speed, he's only 5'10", but you could still put him in if you're really feeling frisky. But 89 speed at 6'2", 88 speed at 6'1", 90 speed at 6'1". So our 3 corners in a nickel would all be 6'1" or taller. 88 speed would be our slot corner. We'd have 90 and 89 speed on the outside. So not as fast as we would like, but having that height is going to help a lot too. Then at safety, we are a little slow here, especially at free safety, just a bunch of 86 speeds. Don't love that. Strong safety though, we do have an 89 speed we would put in there. Then you could use either Thomas or one of the free safeties to be your other linebacker with that middle linebacker that we saw. So James Madison, it's really just that tight end and wide receivers, the skill positions on offense, all being 90 plus speed with an 88 plus speed quarterback. Makes it very, very hard to defend why I really like James Madison. But now I'll go to personally one of my favorite tier 5 teams. We use these guys in like I don't even know. It might have been like episode 9 or 10. It was a long, long time ago. We revisited them a couple times. One of my favorite tier 5 teams. The North Texas Mean Green. And their sad little eagle mascot right in the middle of the screen. So yeah, we used them in Campus Tour a long time ago. And then I did another video I actually did on stream back. I know I don't stream very much, or really at all anymore. It's hard to find time. Excuse me. But we did a whole thing about using them in the Heisman division until we lost. And I think we went 4 or 5 games. We went a while. We beat a lot of tier 2 teams. I remember we beat like Ole Miss. I think we beat Oregon. We beat a lot of teams. North Texas, very, very good for a tier 5 team. Of course, at quarterback, for now, I believe he's transferring out. Chandler Morris, 84 overall, 87 speed, solid ability, sleight of hand. I don't really run play action, so that doesn't really matter all that much, but extender is a good one to have there. 87 speed, good to have there. Halfback, where is he at? Yeah, I knew he was hiding down here. Jawan Price, 94 speed with silver takeoff and gold shifty. Unbelievable. He is so good. Or you could put Evans in with a 91 speed and bronze sidestep and put Price out at wide receiver. I know when I use North Texas, I put Price in at your starting halfback and just threw it to him all the time. Wide receiver, 93 speed, 96 speed, 90, 90, 90. Just speed, speed, speed. This is why I don't think you really need to put Price out at wide receiver. You certainly could if you really wanted to, but because his big advantage is he does have takeoff, right? Doesn't he? Or did I just imagine that? No, so he does have silver takeoff, which is a huge advantage. We also have a 95 speed hiding down here. We have like, the speed North Texas has is insane. I would keep Sheffield probably out wide still with the 93 speed, but we could easily put this 95 speed guy like right here. So now, or even here. So now if we run 3 receiver sets, we have 93, 96, 95 speed with a 94 speed halfback in the backfield. Insane. They're so good. North Texas is so good. I'm telling you guys, look at some of these tier 4 and tier 5 teams. They are absurd. Then even at tight end, we have 81 speed, which is really good. Or, I mean, you can put this guy in, 39 speed. That's the slowest guy I've ever seen. Oh my goodness. I was just talking to somebody in our Discord, which link is right down below if you just happen to want to join, where we were playing a game against each other, and we couldn't believe there was somebody with 49 speed. Now we see a 39 speed. But anyway, 81 speed tight end, pair with those 3 receivers, pair with a 94 speed halfback and an 87 speed quarterback. Crazy good offense at North Texas. We'll quickly go through. Yeah, offensive lines really have nothing. Defensive lines, we have takedowns, not too bad. Absurdly good D-tackle. Oh my goodness. That's really the only guy we got, but this makes up for a lot. Having a platinum outside disruptor and a platinum inside disruptor, so pretty much any run play, he's going to get off a block. Like inside, outside, an option, he's going to be shedding those blocks. So we don't have good ends, but having that in the middle of your defense, it's crazy how good it is. And they only have 2 D tackles on their whole roster. It is insane. But having those abilities on your D tackle, really, really good. So you have an 83 speed and 84 speed. That's about it. So no real linebackers, but again, look at the speed here in the secondary. 97 speed and on one side. He's going to go outside. Ball hawk blanket coverage, only 5'8". So 6'1", I would keep him outside. 5'8", he would have to be our slot guy. But again, just this speed of North Texas is unreal. Like, so fast. 490 plus speed with a 97 speed corner. We have a 92 speed free safety. Then either one of these guys, I'd bring this Lewis down to be a user, because this Spruels, too small. 5'8", 165. Way too small. Get bullied in the run game. 5'11", 193. Still pretty small, but it should be enough to help you out. And then one of these guys here too. Probably this Anderson, just because he has that platinum blow up. Helps shed impact blocks on running plays. Or wait, who's it? Wait, Allen. I didn't even see Allen over here. Oh, yeah, he'd be a user for sure. Those would be your 2 linebackers. BJ Allen Jr., 90 speed, 6 foot, 194. Much better speed than we saw. And size than we saw on those guys up there. And then Anderson would be your other sub linebacker. Crazy. North Texas is really, really good in this game. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Crazy speed all over the field. Secondary looks great. That D-tackle is going to be a monster. Offense is phenomenal. I love North Texas in this game. We got one more team to look at. This is probably the most popular Tier 5 team. We've gone against them a lot. But They're the most preposterous Tier 5 team I've ever seen. I feel like I have to talk about them. Like I said, I think a lot of you guys probably know where this is going. The Vanderbilt Commodores, Tier 5. Maybe the fastest team in this game. They got to be close. We just talked about, North Texas for Tier 5. Very fast. Not as fast as Vanderbilt. This team is insane. I don't even need to say anything else. We just get into the depth chart. This team is preposterous. So at quarterback, 95 speed. Sorry, Diego. I know you just sued and won another year of eligibility somehow, but you're out of here. Give us the 95 speed quarterback, Nate Johnson. Insane. Not wide receivers, halfback, 90 speed, 82 overall. Very solid. Wide receivers, 2 97 speed wide receivers and a 95 speed wide receiver. What? And a 92 speed wide receiver. Sure, let's pop him up here too. Do we have anybody else down here? Oh yeah, another 92 speed wide receiver. Absolutely, get him in there. So now, I mean, our top 5 wide receivers are 92 speed or higher. We have 2 97 speed wide receivers. We have a 95 speed wide receiver. This goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you find yourself in a position where you need to get a lot of ranking points in a road to the CFP season, this speed of Vanderbilt is going to match up against any Tier 1 secondary. Any of them. Absolutely any of them. 2 97 speeds and a 95 speed. It's unbelievable how fast this Vanderbilt team is. And this guy's 6'4". Like, he's a worse version of that Nick Harbor at South Carolina. 76 overall, 95 speed, 6'4", 5'11", 6'1". I mean, and then you can see him on here, the first name at tight end. Guess what? 90 overall, 88 speed. Eli Stowers hiding here at tight end too. It's oh gosh, I just can't believe it. Every time I look at it, I literally just can't believe how fast Vanderbilt is. 97, 97, 95. Quarterback, 95. Tight end, 90 overall, 88. They're the best Tier 5 team. Unfortunately, I don't know. I personally, just personal opinion, I like North Texas. I just would rather win a game with North Texas than Vanderbilt. But Vanderbilt's the best team. They have a gold quick jump. They have a bronze quick jump. Like, Vanderbilt is preposterously good. So you'd have, your 2 quick jumps there. You didn't have anything else on the D-line, but you don't even need anything else. Just have your 2 quick jumps. Linebackers, all a little too slow. Yeah, because he's the edge rusher there. Right. Yeah, linebackers are a little too slow. Corners, though. If you're running a nickel, here you go. 92 speed, 92 speed, 91 speed. Outside guys, 6'1" and 6 foot. Slot corners still 6 foot tall. Just, gosh, Vanderbilt's so good. They're so good. So free safety, you could swap these 2 around. So now you have a 92 speed free safety, and you have an 88 speed that you can put in as your linebacker, who's 6'1", 200 pounds. Still has really good size. At strong safety, you can start whoever you want. I mean, I would put, since he's run support, he would come down and be a linebacker. And this 6'2", 220 speed, 220 speed, that would be insane. 220 pound guy goes up top. So now he's your starting strong safety. Taylor's one of your user linebackers. They're so good. Vanderbilt is so good for a Tier 5 team. It's unbelievable. But that is going to do it for our big overview here. This went on way longer than I thought it was going to. But there's 10 teams, 10 hidden gems in this game from tiers 4 and 5 that I wish more people tried. There are so many. I didn't even talk about some of the other ones because I talked about them in like my favorite offense video. UNLV, I love, mainly just because their playbook, their roster's not that great. Hawaii, I think, is really good as a Tier 5 team. There are so many good Tier 4 and 5 teams that you just got to check some of them out. But these are my favorite ones. If I had to pick one from each, Tier 4, Georgia Tech, Tier 5, Vanderbilt, they're just good. They're just good. That's all they need to say. They're just all very good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I will see you next time. Until then, take it easy.